Hi, my name is Sam and welcome to Carve's Performance Garage. In this episode, I'll be continuing working on Mr. EJ, I'll be finishing off the intercooler, continue routing the Catchcan and the battery, and then installing the ignition barrel and the dash. If you've been liking my videos, please consider hitting the subscribe button, so let's get into it. Because of the size of a GR intercooler, you need to cut a 90-degree elbow to size that fits from the turbo to the intercooler. I found that if I replicate the length of the hose between the intercooler pipe and the bend of the elbow, that's generally pretty much perfect. It's mainly the length from the bend to the turbo that you need to cut it to size. The length will be a little bit longer than stock, but I highly recommend, as always, when cutting any sort of silicone hose, you cut little bits at a time because you can always cut more off, but you can never add more on. As you can see in this clip, I am routing the hoses for the Catchcan. Whenever you're dealing with AN push lock barbs or barbs in general, I highly recommend putting the hose in some boiling water. The boiling water will help soften up the hose, plus it will add some lubrication, so when you're pressing the hose onto the barb, it should go on nice and easy. You can use a heat gun if you don't have access to boiling water, but I bought a kettle specifically for this task, so that shows how much more effective boiling water is. So all of the routing of the Catchcan is almost done. Basically, I've fitted up all the fittings dry. I haven't lubed any of them up yet, just so it meant that I could get all the hoses right and everything. Only thing I am going to do is I'm going to put AN fittings just right here, just so it means that when I do need to take the intercooler off, all I need to do is undo this fitting up here, undo this fitting here, and this hose will just come off nice and easily. I could absolutely not do this, but the problem is to then remove the intercooler, I would need to remove these two P-clips, which quite frankly is harder to do compared to if I was to just put another set of AN fittings. I just gotta cut the hose down to shape and put these two fittings in place. So I'll mark them out and do that now. Alright, so the Catchcan lines are routed, and this is how I routed them. So to start off with each of the rocker cover breathers, basically I've got a hose connecting down there, and it follows the stock location up to here, and it connects just up to here, runs along to this wire piece. Now on the other side there, goes to the other rocker cover down there. And basically this both splits off and goes into a in of the Catchcan. Now for the other in, it's the crankcase breather. So the crankcase breather, I don't have it connected as I've got the wrong fitting there, but I've got the right fitting coming in the male. So that follows and comes down into the other in down here. Then for the out to intake, it follows along that same path down into this bit on the intake. So I've also got the drain down there. that's all connected up. I just need to hook it up to the drain there, so that will all be done. So all I need to do with all of the AN fittings here, I basically need to take them off. I need to lubricate them, which I'm going to use Vaseline or petroleum jelly, because petroleum jelly is the generic stuff and it's cheaper. And then I can finally go through and tighten everything up. I do need to retake the intercooler off though, because there is still more stuff that needs to be done down in there, but everything else can be done. So I might as well lubricate it all now and get that all done and ready. So now that the airbox is out, I'm going to just put it back in, just so it means mainly so I don't forget about it. All the Catchcan hosing and AN fittings are now lubed and ready to go. I'll be honest, I'm actually really happy with the system. Only thing I don't like is this top hose, just mainly because of the blow-off valve, but there's not too much you can do about it unless I actually block it off. But I do want to keep a blow-off valve there for the time being until I decide to go more power, bigger turbo and a intake, just so I can have the cool turbo flutter sounds and get rid of all of that stuff that we don't need in the engine bay. I'll put the airbox back in, and then what I'll do, I'll focus back on the battery and we'll get all that hooked up. So let's get this in and ready to go. Sometimes when you're installing a brand new battery, the battery tie down rods can be a little bit too long or too short. So what you can do is you can go down to Bunnings, grab some M6 threaded rod, and then you can cut it and bend it to size. I always keep quite a bit of this on hand because it is really useful stuff. To crimp large gauge wire, I definitely recommend buying a hydraulic crimper. I got a hydraulic crimper off eBay, it's cheap and it works. I'm not an expert at using this tool, but when I did the quick pull test, the wire did not come out, so it should hold. Alright, so it's all done. So pretty much I have a isolator, so it means I can just isolate the battery, so when it is sitting for a little while, it shouldn't go out of charge. But I crimped them, I've taped them. I didn't have to modify this, just the way the lines fit, it kind of fits perfect. Only problem I have is this doesn't fit as well. I've had to use a bolt, some washers to hold it in place. But it will work and it's good enough. So yeah, at least all of this is done. I can check that off the list and move on to the next thing. I'm going to install the key barrel. I'm going to install this mainly because I want to be able to at least see if there is power going through the car, and without putting this in, I can't really do that. So I've got the WRX's lock barrel and the MREJ's lock barrel along with the keys. I'm going to swap over the lock barrel of the Impreza with the one from the WRX, just so it means I won't have any sort of issues when it comes in terms of the keys and immobilizers with the ECU. From factory, they use these little shear bolts. The way I had to get them out was I had to use a punch and just punch them out that way. So I've got some other bolts here. The only thing is, I'm not sure if they will 100% fit in here. So I'm going to test it out. Whatever won't fit, I'm just going to grind away and chop these bolts down to length. So just test fitting it. It won't fit on the inside, but what it will do is it will fit up top. So I'm going to keep it like that. If it does end up moving at all, then I'll eventually take it out and probably just find a new bolt. But for the meantime, it will work. The only thing is I need to now cut it down to size. So I will measure it out, see how much it protrudes, and go from there. So the inside vise is being used to hold up the metal folder, and because it's currently being used, I'm just going to cut these off camera. When I took these out, I marked the position of where they sit, so it should be really easy to put it back in. I'm going to have a quick look at all of the wiring in the car, just double check that everything is 100%, and if it is 100%, then I'm just going to put the dash in now. I might as well, just having a quick glance at everything looks 100%, so I don't think there would be a reason for something to go wrong. Luckily, because I did mark what connectors actually were plugged into stuff, I can clearly see what ones I haven't plugged in yet. So yeah, let's start chucking the dash back in. So that last clip, I put the dash in and I plugged the battery in so I could wind down the windows, and lo and behold, the windows wound down. So hopefully that's a good indication that everything's working. Plus, when I put it onto accessories, the dash lit up, everything on the dash looked normal. So that's a good sign. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you learnt something from it. If you like this video, please hit the like button below. And if you've been enjoying my content, please consider subscribing. If you have any video ideas, comments, suggestions, please leave them down in the comments section below. As always, you can follow me on Instagram at 07carbs, where I post pictures, videos, and stories about all the stuff that I'm doing in terms of cars and in the shed. Again, thank you so much for watching my video, and until next time, keep on learning.